The first chapter in the book is titled Education. Some Children Are Deliberately Left Behind. So I started with, again, the American education system because I wanted to highlight we're going to call it the leaders of the pack and their role in the prison pipeline. And so like with all the other books, there are three takeaways at the beginning of each chapter. And the takeaways for this first chapter, ugly fact number one, are these. Number one, early school failure leads to disengagement and dropping out. The next takeaway is that dropping out of school is associated with criminal justice involvement. And finally, the third takeaway is that positive teacher engagement and school-based interventions can save generations of children. So, the first section of the first chapter says simply, education is the key to the kingdom and the key to raising either a criminal, an average Joe, or a superstar. They're all raised by the same strategies and the same groups of people. And so, education is the key to it all. Unfortunately, we go into the chapter and we talk about how stratification and labeling happens very early. That in the American education system, they are clear about who they want to be leaders, who they want to be workers, and who they want to be prisoners. So they start stratifying and labeling from the very beginning. And the chapter looks at topics such as the achievement gap. It looks at the horrendous graduation rates that occur among those who are subject to the achievement gap. It talks about, and this is all research translated. The chapter talks about teacher bias and how that impacts stratification. Talks about how graduation rates are impacted by the fact that most students who drop out of high school actually drop out of ninth grade, that they never make the 8th to ninth grade transition very well. The chapter goes on to then talk about solutions to the process or to the problem, and talks about teacher development, and talks about the importance of many hands and parent engagement. This was a very sobering, at the time that I wrote this, I had 2 children in K through 12. And this was a very sobering chapter to write, to be able to see all of the evidence presented by education researchers to say, hey, not only is the education system a part of the prison pipeline, we take leadership. We provide leadership in the prison pipeline. And not only prison, because when I worked in prison, inmates would say that poverty is as much of a prison. And so that when you deal with the pathway to prison, some people go to prison, some people go to enduring poverty or permanent poverty, and then some people go to both. So, although I don't talk about poverty in this chapter, it is to be assumed as a companion to the pathway to prison. Thank you.